Living and breathing La Vida Boa. Welcome to the Boa Life Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen DeMora, alongside host Nick Colhay. We're here to laugh. We're here to entertain. We're here to have great conversations. And we're here to figure out that game for that good life.
What's up, everybody? I'm your co-host, Nick Colhay. This is the Boa Life Podcast, number 8. You ready to do this, Steve?
Let's go! That was different.
I love it. All
right, we're good there. Like, I mean, how much worse or better could it get? I can't figure out if it was good or bad.
That was great.
To me, that's a great intro.
It was great. I loved it.
Oh man. Well, listen, without further ado, I'm gonna introduce the world to a good friend of mine, Caleb Jones. We're very excited to have you on this podcast. Finally, have some youth on the program, and we have you here to have a conversation about what that good life is and how we're all pursuing it and how we're all working together to find that good life and that balance in life. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Stephen. It was definitely invite. Oh my goodness, I wanted to say your name. Wait, what's your name? Nick. Okay. Thanks for having me, Stephen and Nick. I'm so excited to be here. We're definitely gonna get my perspective on the good life, and I definitely want to get yours too. So I'm excited to be here.
We love talking about ourselves, so we're good company.
Awesome.
You're gonna definitely have to cut me off from time to time because I tend to get going, and I obviously like to talk. That's why I'm on a podcast, and I also like to talk to different people and get different perspectives. That's why we're having you here today. Now, I've obviously known you for some time now, and I've had a connection. I've always joke about us being like kindred spirits. I don't know what it is. Maybe I see myself in you a little bit, and the positiveness, and I feel like you have the eye on the prize, whatever that is. It's like there's something out there you're searching for, something you want, and I think you're going after it. It's like where are you at right now, and what do you see yourself doing in the future?
So right now I'm at a place to where I'm young. I see a future that I want for myself, and I'm just setting myself up to get to that future, putting myself in a position to succeed for myself mentally, whether it be financially, socially, and like I said, I'm just trying to get to that place that I want to be, which is my definition of success. So that's all I'm doing, is just trying to set myself up to get there.
Yeah. How clear is that when you say future and you imagine it, you look down the road, how clear is that for you now? Do you put it in like a 5, 10 year, 15 year? Like, explain that a little bit.
So I don't like to just put necessarily dates or a year benchmark on the rate of success that I want to experience, because I started photography, I would say maybe a year ago, and the growth that I've been able to experience just a year ago to where I'm at today has been so crazy, to where that I would have never thought it would be possible to do that in a year. So when I see my future and the success that I want to have, I don't necessarily see a year amount, but I just see myself taking the steps that I need to make and ultimately reaching that goal of success and my future that I want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Steve was telling me, we just met obviously, but Steve was telling me how you guys know each other. What was it like meeting this character for the first time, and how did that friendship develop?
Oh man, the first time I met Steven, super awesome person. He kind of mentioned earlier how we're kind of like kindred spirits, and it's so crazy to see. So me initially meeting him, knowing that he's a lawyer, you kind of have I wouldn't say like a preconceived idea how lawyers are or something like that, yeah. But he was completely opposite, because some of them are very serious, super uptight, but Steven was a super awesome, charismatic guy. The first time I met him, it just felt like we could have an open, honest just conversation, and we could just keep it going. And I remember like the very first time he told me he was a Cowboys fan, and I was like, I hate the Cowboys. Absolutely hate the Cowboys. You had to
bring that up right away, huh?
Absolutely hated him. But the conversation, him finding out that I'm a Jets fan, and us just being able to go from there, and it was definitely an awesome experience meeting him for the first time. And so it's just, the relationship is just developed because we've had multiple conversations on so many different topics and subjects. So it's been an awesome relationship that we've been able to develop over time, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's funny how things work. It's like some people just connect and some people unfortunately don't. I try to connect I know we've had this conversation. I try to connect with as many people as I can because I'm a firm believer that we have a lot to learn from each other, first of all. And second of all, like, we're all in this thing together. And it's like, the sooner people realize that, I think the better. It's like, you're just getting in the way of yourself. It's like, you throw that good vibe out there and you treat people with respect and you try to learn from people. And it's like, recurrent theme. It's like, you're being selfless, being selfish. They're one and the same. It's like you're giving out and that world gives you it back. I mean, we talked about it earlier. It's like the universe kind of gives you what you want,
No, absolutely.
And it's interesting you were talking about like progress and Nick was asking you your vision. It's like, it's funny because I've always looked at my vision down the road and intermediary and what I want to achieve. And it's hard to date things and time things because it ebbs and flows. It's like you can be super, super quick, fast developing in one area, and then it could take forever in other areas. Like I've been telling you, I've been trying to master golf, and it's like, wow, as an athlete who's excelled in some sports, how humbling it is to try to get good at something like that. It's like you got to persevere and stay the course. And the easiest way to do that is to just follow things that you love. I know right now you're pursuing something you love. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about what that is and how you're going about it and making it a lifestyle and a career?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in that transition stage to where currently I'm working a 9 to 5, and I have been so passionately involved with photography that it has completely changed my idea of what I wanted to be. Because initially I wanted to be like start in a position, then grow, then become a manager and all these things. But once I found the love for photography, everything kind of just did a 180. So all of my attention went to it. I just wanted to continue to grow and learn. And so I would spend I would say when I first started out with photography, I would spend maybe 10 hours a day just learning as much as I could from different videographers, photographers, some in different languages. I would watch videos of people like literally like speaking in like Turkish or like there's like just crazy languages and just putting on subtitles and trying to learn. And so I got to the point to where I started getting tons of gigs and model agencies reaching out to me. So I just kind of went with the flow with that, and then over time, just getting a lot of how could I say, exposure is like, it helped me find out that this is something that I could do and that I should put steps in place to literally make this my career choice. And being able to do that has afforded me to get in so many opportunities. I'm on the Bull Life podcast. Like, how great is that?
Yeah.
That's it.
Giving us a plug. It's amazing how the pivot, we talk about the pivot. It's like there's always this pivotal time in someone's life where they pursue a dream or do something that they never envisioned. It's like us being here today. It's like a series of events that unfold to open up an opportunity. And, you invite these opportunities and they come. It's awesome. Now, you've obviously plugged us on our own show, and I love you for that. What is there a plug at this point that we can give you? Is there a website? If someone's interested in a young up and coming photographer, where do they go to find them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do most of my booking through Instagram. So Cal_Evan. On Instagram, you can find me. It's pretty easy to find. It should be the first name that pops up. So I do most of my stuff through DMs, and I've been afforded to do a lot of I've been able to do 2 album covers. I've been able to do also some record label work as well. So that's been pretty awesome. Been able to do that, and like I said, and me just being a photographer, just been doing this for about a year now. So it's pretty crazy.
Can you backtrack a little bit and kind of revisit? Was there like an instance that you did that 180? What sparked your interest in photography specifically?
So what interests me in photography, it's gonna sound super cheesy, but it's the honest truth. So I love being able to capture moments. And I sometimes mess with people and say I have this crazy device, that literally lets me freeze time at an instant. So it's being able to create those moments with people, whether it be from my own artistic view or from someone else reaching out to me. They have an idea formulating in their head and they just want me to kind of back them or help them kind of help it come to life. And being able to do that process with other people captured me. And so being able to see someone else have something in their head and me being able to help them create it, that was something that I said I couldn't get enough of. It was like a drug. It was an adrenaline rush that I was like, I have to keep doing this. We gotta keep moving. I gotta keep moving forward and pursuing it even more.
And this is going on like how long would you say? Like when the first iPhone came out and you could take a picture?
Yeah. So honestly, I remember before I even moved up to the Northeast, I had in my Instagram bio, professional amateur photographer. And so it literally
it makes sense, right?
Yeah, right?
Self-fulfilling prophecy. I love it. You like knew it. So you knew it. You already knew what you were destined to do.
So like, and I was, like you said, started on an iPhone.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I remember doing one of my first photo shoots with a friend. I think we went to like West Hartford and is it Blueback Square, I believe it is. And we just, I was walking around, I had a little gimbal for my iPhone and was just taking photos and he loved them. And so that's definitely was the start of the progression of me doing it more professionally. But like I said, being able to capture those moments with people definitely is what got me to really fall in love with photography.
Wow, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
What the iPhone could do.
Yeah, that's it.
Literally.
Steve Jobs.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, that's it.
Technology.
Hold on, real quick. You referred him as Steve Vin a couple times. Now, I don't hear that from too many people. Is that what you prefer, Steve Vin?
No, Steven, whatever.
Okay, I didn't know if that was
I just
something
like,
between
as
you
long as
guys.
people are saying my name, I'm happy. I don't even know. Everybody asks that. It's like, I don't know that I prefer either one. It's like, it is what it is. It's either one has always been a part of what people call me. And to me, they're one and the same, really.
Oh, okay.
I mean, and it's interesting because it's perspective. Because like I really don't care, but there are people that care about, and it's the irony here is like I've been calling Caleb forever now, and he's like, well, that's I really don't call myself that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, why are you telling me this now? We have such good rapport. You should have been like, this is what I would prefer to. But I guess in some people, it's like they want to be called a certain name. I just, like I said, as long as I'm communicating and engaging with people, I'm usually pretty good.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But to me, it's all about getting out there, having these discussions. It's ironic that, you found your way and we found our way here. And here we are all together, like talking about where we are. We're in good places, doing things we love to do. It's like anything else, man. You stay the course, you make good decisions, and eventually you get to a place maybe that you want to be, and then you can project it into the future. It's another thing that you and I have in common is like at a very young age, there were certain things that people have interest in and look like, oh, that's something I want. To me, it was always becoming a father, a husband one day, having a family. I've cherished my moments as a child and my family. I know you're already like your eye on the prize, right? Your perspective already is like, I'm doing a lot of these things for my future family. I mean, how much of what you do is to build that strong future maybe one day for your family?
I would say everything that I do is literally just to make sure that when I have kids, that even though, like I said, I believe I told you earlier that I didn't have a bad upbringing by any means,
right.
But anything that I've had to struggle and to overcome, my mindset is that I want to put myself in a position to where my kids won't ever have to deal with anything that I've had to deal with before. And so whether it be making connections, whether it be with a local pediatrician or a lawyer in the area or something like that, just having something to build upon with relationships, of course monetarily, to make sure that I be able to put my future kids in a position to succeed and to make sure that they can pursue whatever that they want to pursue in their future. Because honestly, if you're not pursuing your passion and things that you love to do, you're not really living, to me. And that's what it's all about. Just making sure that you're living, doing things that are going to be worth it to you when you are 70, 80 years old, looking back on the time that you spent here. So that's definitely everything that I do is making sure that family in the future is going to be taken care of and be able to pursue the things that they love.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well said. I mean, couldn't put it any better way. Steve and I talked about that. It's like, don't waste an opportunity, no matter what it is, because you're literally faced to make a choice, whether yes or no, if you're going to take an opportunity or walk away from it every day, like every second, pretty much. And that's just randomly, like walking in a store. Like you can, if you make eye contact with someone, you're going to ignore them, put your head down, or just say, hey, you can change someone's day. So I'm really glad you hit on that point.
Yeah. And life's hard, and there's a lot of work to be done to get whatever success it is you want, and you got to have those motivations, you know, and whatever they are. I mean, everybody's motivated by money, success, power, family. I mean, there's got to be something motivating you, or you're going to just stand still. Yeah. And it's just fascinating. I think maybe that's probably why we connect well, is because we get kind of, I think, have similar motivations. So I'm always striving to be better. Not only for myself, for my kids. I think the balance that we're searching for, right? And I think I talked to you about it. Nick certainly knows. It's like the out of balance life, right? So like right now, I'm really working a lot. It's a byproduct of the environment I'm in right now. I got to get it while it's good. Yeah. But then there's certain things that lack, right? My time with my family, my time for myself. And it always goes back to the analogy. If you're on a plane and there's a sudden event and the masks come down, you better you're flying with your kids. Whose mask are you going to put on first? You're going to put your own mask on first, not your kids' masks. And it's to me, it's a powerful visual of, you know, if you want to be a good father or a good brother or sister or a good member of your community, it's like, get yourself in order first, you know. And a lot of this is what this is. It's like we want to have a lot of discussions with a lot of different people so that we can find tools. And live through their experiences to be better for ourselves and our community and our families. And that's what this conversation is all about. That's why I really believe in it and why I enjoy doing it and why I think it's going to be a powerful message to the public is that it's like what I think a lot of people are searching for, right? You are, I'm sure, into social media, and I shouldn't speculate, but given how old you are, you're a young man, 22? 23 years old. I mean, I would probably bet, not my life, but a decent amount of money that you're on social media in some form or fashion. And I think it's an unbelievable tool, technology. It's gotten to where you are. It's gotten us to where we are. But at some points, it can be misleading. And I think people watching and seeing people putting out these fantasy lives or the best perspective. You actually, I don't know if you did it on air or you did it before when we were talking. You talked about in your photography, you have a person that does a lot of the brushing and then that can take hours. And it's funny that you said that because almost social media can be that, right? Where it's hours of brushing and meticulously editing, and it's like, whoa, like there's a place for that, and that's cool, and that's just driving a lot of stuff right now. But like the blemishes, the imperfections, like let's talk about life, right? Yeah, like losing loved ones or having struggles in a career or making decisions that change. And that's why these conversations are important because they can learn from our perspectives and from you. Yeah, absolutely. So what I think is interesting, what social media is, especially Instagram is, what people have to realize is that those are what they're posting. Those are literally the best moments of their life. But you don't see as soon as they click out of the app, what their reality is. And what a lot of people tend to push is that everything is amazing, that everything is unblemished, that everything is perfect. But in reality, when you actually step back, when you realize that that's not their car, that they just rented it for the day, and that's not what they have, or they're in this specific location, and like I said, it's literally just for the photo. Like they're not actually living the lifestyle that they're portraying. You have to, and it's crazy because that pushes a false narrative to especially the youth that's what their life is, and then they internalize it and they say, oh, that's not what my life is, so I must be a failure. I must suck. Like I must be a loser. But that's not really the case. And you're like you said, social media is definitely
definitely continues to push a false narrative about like certain things like that. And when you really pull it back, it's not really like I said earlier, the reality that they're living in.
And then people are going to wonder why they're so unhappy and miserable. It's because they're not equipped to deal with setbacks and with, a day at home doing nothing, which to me I enjoy more than anything. It's funny. Nick has a motto, right, which is like beat the sun, right? Like lives by get up. It's like your motto is what? What we talk about all the time, right? What sharpens what?
Oh, iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron. It's like
absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like there's something to be said for that. It's like you get to where you are. It's sweat, toil, tears. It's like and when a lot of the stuff you're seeing is just like boom. You know what I mean? It's like you see the star athlete on the baseball field or basketball court, and you're like, wait a second. Like they didn't just show up there. There's a lot of miles ran, a lot of foul balls to the head. It's like
absolutely. Yeah, they put the work in, and it's crazy because the youth, like you said, they see that and like they instantaneously want it, but it's so much more behind it, and people don't want to put the work in, and you have to put the work in order to get to where you want to be.
It's interesting you touch on that, and especially social media, because I think the audience and the listeners can already gather that you're a pretty level-headed guy, and you got your sights set on nothing but positivity and helping people. So how do you deal with social media being so young, growing up with it? Because I remember just having a beeper. Look, if I had Facebook, I don't know, 10 years ago. So you were barely becoming a teenager. At the same time, you could have had a Facebook account. I was pretty much a man, a full adult. And so how did you throughout your teens and stuff? How was that? How did you stay level-headed and have your sights set?
So I was so Instagram came out when I was I would say elementary school.
Wow.
And
It's scary in a way.
It's perspective. I need to know for my kids. Like how do you navigate all this?
And then even before then, I believe I didn't have it because I was too young, but I think there was like something called like MySpace or something along those lines.
Something like that.
How sad is that? That was like the internet revolution for us. It lasted for like 4 seconds.
I think that was
Facebook gobbled that one up.
Yeah. So being able to navigate social media from a young age, it's crazy because there's so much involved in whether it be a young person putting themselves out there for other people to react to. And it's a level of, I would say even just growing up, you have so many insecurities about yourself. Right. So you're so malleable from so many different people, so many different things being pushed to you, to where it's hard to be able to maneuver through being able to be, how can I word it? Being able to be
trying to focus on like just anything,
just on literally on anything, on growing up, on being a kid, because so much stuff is pushed to you through social media, and even now, like the narrative behind so much being, I think you mentioned earlier, the false information that's being pushed to people, whether it be being able to, whether it be politics, whether it be lifestyle type of things. It's crazy. There's so much information that's being pushed to kids, and I'm a kid myself, so being pushed to us as a youth, and being able to sort through it and find the actually valuable information is the hardest part of it. So you're seeing successful people post things, and then you'll read comments. This is how you do this. This is how you do this, or tap this link and this is how you can do that. But it's so much bad information. Being able to meet people who have good information that's going to be useful to you, is very, very, very important. So sometimes it's a matter of having social media, being able to see different ideas, but being able to step back away from social media as well and have interactions with people, which is the hardest thing for my generation to do.
Yeah, use it as a tool. I mean, use it for what it's worth. Don't abuse it.
Yeah.
realize that thing in your pocket is addictive.
Yeah.
And you're right. Just to touch again on everything on there is people's best moments.
Yeah.
So
they're looking for clicks and they're feeding off the worst part of everybody, right?
Yeah.
Self gratification. Look at me. You can have this with instantaneous.
Yeah.
This is how I did it. It's so easy and it's all bullshit.
Really
Excuse
is.
my language, but
Yeah, no, it really is because like kind of like we said earlier, it's really not instantaneous. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love social media, whether it be because I feel like social media is the new way to market anything that you want to push out to anyone. So I'm not gonna completely like down it because like you said, it's a tool that we can all use. But realizing too that if you're starting a business, social media is how you market it. Yeah, you can have a marketing team and stuff like that, but if they're not running a social media and you're doing it like the old way, that's not gonna work, man. You have to have a social media account over multiple platforms, getting your product or your content out. If you want to be successful in anything in 2021.
yeah, you're just connecting to too many people, and it's awesome even for that, for the connection, people that you haven't seen in a while. And there's a lot of stuff to do, but it's like anything that's great, in moderation, and you got to be very careful because it could also go the other way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a natural evolution. I mean, literally, adapt or die. Like you said, like you want to have a business and you don't want to go on Facebook or Instagram. It's probably not going to happen for you.
Yeah, no. Word of mouth is everything. The way that whether it be posting on stories, having people send your stories to other people, your posts to other people.
We know who's going to be running the PR campaign for the Bull podcast. Sign them up, Justin.
That's it.
On the dotted line, we know what we need. We
Get
got
the
our
contract
social media.
out.
No, that's it. Absolutely.
Actually, you touched on a good point because it's like kids growing up these days, you need it. It's like you don't have a choice because if you don't have it, you're not going to fit in. And you're not going to grow up. But at the same time, it's like you could learn so much from it. Like when I was growing up, if I had to do a school report, I was going on my bookshelf and getting an encyclopedia. Wow. And every
or
kid,
the library.
Exactly.
Wow.
If you're writing a report and everyone in the class had to do the same subject, everything was the same. It's from the same book. So it's interesting, and I think it's important for people to know that you gotta fight the negative urges on it, and you have to really like use it as a tool to pave your own path.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And what was your quote, your motto? What was it?
Beat the sun.
Beat the sun. So
yeah, I hashtag that, and it's like that's my. To me, it's like the sun rises every day. I don't know if I fully explained it, like why I hashtag that. Like just like I got up one day and I'm like, wait, the sun's not even up yet. Like I'm killing it already, and people are in bed. The sun ain't even risen yet.
That's it.
Like the most powerful force that we know is not even up yet, but I'm up. So I use it as a tool to just motivate myself to get out of bed and do something. And if I can accomplish anything, whether it's just, get up and stretch a little bit or make a cup of coffee or get stuff going for the day before the sun rises, I feel accomplished. Yeah. And then I'm ready to go for the day. So that's kind of where that came from.
Oh, that's awesome. And the thing is that kind of how it would resonate with me would be with social media, it's so easy to spend hours and hours and hours and hours just surfing and posting and doing all these things. But if you're having the mindset of trying to beat the sun and get stuff accomplished, you're not going to be wasting your time. Of course, there are times to where you're going to be on social media promoting your brand or making connections. But the real world is still the way to be successful, in my opinion. You have to do things like beating the sun. Whether it be at the beginning of your startup, whether it be maybe not being able to sleep as much as you want to because you have to put the work in, but it's so important to make sure you're driven. You're driven.
I think of a Mark Cuban quote, and you've probably heard it. If work so hard as if someone is working 24 hours to take it away from you.
Yes.
Like that's how disciplined and hard.
It's ironic that you brought up Mark Cuban because I talked about him in the car ride, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, I was really promoting our podcast, saying I'm not really into podcasts, but I feel like what's out there is people like the Mark Cubans and these uber successful people talking, and they're so far off the beaten path. Like they like we're in the thick of things. Like we're still becoming successful. We're raising our family. We know we're not too far away from where our failures are. We're still him in his garage selling computers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like it's perspective, where some of this perspective you get from, these people that are on podcasts that are already there. It's like, how relatable are they to like the everyday person? Well, listen, the reality is this: social media, the internet, all this technology, incredible for our lives, incredible for the opportunity it can present to us, but also can be a demon, right? You just said, you can literally spend hours upon hours. I mean, the worst thing you can do is when you get your time update, like you were on your phone 4.5 hours yesterday. What?
But here's the thing: it's like you can do that for hours and it be useful or not.
Mindless.
You could turn that phone off for 4 hours and not remember a damn thing you saw.
Yes, like I'm a big proponent of like little things add up to big things.
Yeah, right.
So it's like I'm not beat the sun, but I'm like I wake up, it's like I'm gonna throw the trash out. Like, check, I did something today. I don't make my bed. My wife makes my bed, but it's like I took a shower. Yeah. Clean. I went for a run. It's like, and I just stack little things apart. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I got a lot of stuff done. Yep. And it's kind of simple, but people, sometimes don't want to just understand that sometimes things are simple, right? Yeah. It's like you have a game plan, you try to create routines, you try to live a little. You got to have a balanced life, and it's like, when you have motivation, you have a view of what you want, know what you want, and then you ask for it, you're unstoppable. Yeah. Right? And then you got to deal with setbacks and you got to pivot, it's ironic. It's like again, look at all these people's conversations we have on our show, and it's like parallels with my life or experiences. Mm-hmm. It's like you had, and I don't want to speak for you, and you can reflect on this after I say it, but it's like you almost had like, I'm going to start here, then I'm going to be the boss, then I'm going to run this company one day. And then it's like, whoa, wait a second. I want to get into photography, and I want to be the best photographer, and I want to promote my brand, and I want to get it to where I can create generational wealth for my kids. It's like, that's my mindset. It's like, at the end of the day, like my outcome is like, I want a family, I want to provide, I want to enjoy life. And it's like, almost like you automatically go into what you need to do to get there, whether it's what you envisioned or now a new vision. And it's like, whether the opportunity presented itself or whether you willed yourself to go there, it's like, here you are now. I mean, is that kind of how you see it, or do you see it differently? Or
that's 100% how I see it. Yeah. So from starting up with a corporation to realizing what I really want, because a lot of times people say, dream big, but I don't feel like their dreams are big enough. So someone's, I remember. I love
that. Like, you're not even dreaming big enough. This is a dream.
Yeah, I need a little explanation here. How big do we get?
So
I can't wait to go into that, because I'm going to say some outrageous shit.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. I can't wait. So I have a group of friends, and a couple of them are literally leaving law school. A couple of them are traveling the world. A couple of them are getting into getting their business degrees and all these different things. And then I'll ask them like, yo, so like what's your dream? Like, what are your dreams? And they'll tell my dreams. Oh, I want to work for a big company. I want to be CEO and stuff like this. I'm like, oh, cool. No, absolutely, I get it. Those are good things to try and attain. But I don't feel like that's dreaming. I don't feel like that's dreaming. My dreams for me are things that are going to build generational wealth, put me in a position to where I'm not just the average Joe walking down the street, that I'm going to be in the history books. Like, I want to be known for decades and decades. So like you said, like you were bringing out how like I did that pivot, realizing that when I started while I was doing the 9 to 5, let me know that I wouldn't be able to attain that or achieve that if I stayed on that same path. So doing something, whether it be art, or even my friends like in the business industry, if they do maintain and continue to get to where they want to be, not just wanting to be a CEO of a company, wanting to be the next Elon Musk, wanting to be the next Steve Jobs, like that's dreaming for me. There's of course levels to it, but putting yourself in a position and putting it out there into the world. Letting it be known that those are the things that you want to attain.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that mindset. It's like, I always tell my kids, and I mean it too. It's like, you can do anything you can dream you can do. I really believe that. Now, you set your expectations so high that even if you fail to achieve them, imagine how far you go.
Exactly.
You set your sights for the moon and you don't get to the moon. It's like, you're still in outer space.
Yeah. You're still reaching these stars.
Right?
Yep,
And it's
absolutely.
like, but you got to be ready for failure and pivots,
course.
and the failures have to jumpstart you to even go further.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I've talked about this before. It's like, you don't want to be the one on American Idol that's singing that thinks they're good and the whole world thinks they're not, right?
Absolutely.
Or knows that they're not. It's like, at that point, like, if you like music, like, go be a producer or something, because you're not going to make it as a singer. But again, you do the pivot and you follow your dreams, because you can shape your dreams and you should be kind of reassessing this as you go, right?
Absolutely.
So I always said this. It's like, and I believe this, and people think I'm crazy, and I don't care, because it's who I am. I feel like I feel like, and this is going to go on camera, so this is going to be outrageous.
Yeah.
I feel like if I wanted to be the president of the United States, I could see myself getting there.
That's awesome.
Like, I don't actually want to be that for a variety of reasons, but like, I feel I have that much self-esteem. Like, maybe it's
confidence.
Completely outrageous. Like, and not because I think I'm the smartest person, because I know I'm far from it, the most charismatic. No, I just feel like I could find a way to do it if I wanted to do it. And I feel like everyone should have that self-belief, because we all have the ability to do like phenomenal things. And I don't care how you're born, who you are, like, you can find your way into the world. And I always say, like, my motto is like, I want to do things that echo in eternity, which is exactly like, I want to be remembered, even if it's just by my kids one day.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
If my kids one day look back at me and say my dad was a good man, a good person, then I'd done everything I wanted. That's my dream come true. But while I'm going through life, like, I want to like see what else I can do. Like, let's put all the chips on the table. Here, podcast. This is like completely outside of, like, I mean,
any comfort zone.
2 years ago, would you have said I'd be on a podcast with Steve Demora?
Probably not.
Like, you laugh in someone's face. You're like, what are you talking about?
Like, what's absolutely.
a podcast? I don't even like talking to that guy. Like,
I just text me, dude. I want to talk to you.
Like, how would I be on a podcast with him? He doesn't shut up. Like, what am I going to do? Like, hold the camera and film him? Like I said, like, sometimes you just got to cut me off.
no, absolutely.
But I mean, and I guess maybe that's why, we're kindred spirits. Like, I feel that confidence.
Yeah.
And I feel like, something compelled me to, to have this conversation, and Nick and I to do this, because it's like, we have belief in ourselves and obviously belief in one another, or we wouldn't be here together doing this. And it's all for the right reasons. It's like, we're giving people hope. We're inspiring. We're learning from them. It's like, I'm here talking to you and you're engaging me. I'm like, you're pumping me up. Like, you're damn right I can.
Of course. No,
like, this guy's like Joe Rogan. Who? Like, Joe Rogan, you want to come on my podcast? Like, listen, sign the book. Justin's out there in the hall. You can come on, maybe like episode 29, right?
Exactly.
On the list.
I'm just kidding, Joe. You can come on whenever you want. You want to call me, email me, Google me.
That's it.
What is it? What, DM me?
DM me. That's it.
I don't have Instagram, but shoot Caleb up and let me know.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
No, absolutely. And like you said, confidence is, going back to what you said, confidence is everything. And even, because I want to touch on it too, because you brought it up, you are going to fail. Like, no matter what happens, there's going to be some obstacle, there's going to be failure that's going to happen. But it's about what you do when that happens. Are you going to stop? Or are you going to quit? Is that going to be the end of the road for you? I'm such the biggest believer in pressure makes diamonds. I feel like I create the best work when I'm under pressure, when I've just failed, when I sent someone something and they totally hated it. Okay, what do I need to do to get better? How can I improve upon this product that I'm putting out? So you're going to fail. It's going to happen. But like you said, kind of like shooting for the moon. But if you miss and you hit the stars, that's not a loss. That's still winning. Yeah,
that's really, really important, because I think a lot of people don't realize that, because it can be you get so down on yourself when you fail at something. Like, you create something. Let's say you create a whole album for someone, and they just look at it like, this is crap, take it back.
Exactly. Yep.
Any normal person, or just naturally, your body, your brain, your mental state is going to tell you, oh man, that sucks. Let me go take some time off. That was a hit. But people don't realize that they need to see that as a win in a way. Technically, it's a failure. No, that's a win because you're going to learn from it and you're going to try different. But too often people get down on themselves and too much negativity there. It's not good. Yeah, no, not good at all. You don't learn anything from it.
Exactly.
No, I've been there. Self-doubt, despair, not believing in yourself. I mean, a lot of people don't know I started an ice cream business. I lost money, failed. It was the best education I ever had, better than 7 years of college for me. And you're right. It's not about falling. It's about getting up, and it's about making sure you learn from that experience. Right? If you make poor decisions and then you continue to make the same decisions, it's like I don't know what to tell you.
Definition of insanity.
You're doing the same thing over and over and expecting different outcome. Yeah, it's you're right. If you're not learning from your mistakes, you're not moving forward.
It's not even. Sorry to cut you off, but it's hard for people to realize. Like, okay, say you fail at something, and it's hard for them to just realize what to learn from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard to portray into words, but if you fail at something and then you regroup and you're like, all right, what I learned from that, and you can't come up with anything, that's fine. But the fact is, you do it again, or you try something different.
You're still alive. You're still living and breathing. Exactly, you're still moving. Exactly. Even if that's enough. Like I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was Steve Jobs. No, Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk said it. I'm never quitting. Like I'm never stop. I'm gonna continue to come after you. It's like that's diabolical. Like how are you not gonna succeed? You can't not succeed. You're not gonna stop. You're not gonna give up.
Never quote kind of basically what you've been saying. There is for me, and I take it as well. Never losses, only lessons.
Yeah.
Only lessons.
And that helps you with your your mindset and your perspective, because it's like you're not gonna have self-doubt if you're like, I suck. I'm never gonna amount to anything. Like, what is that gonna do for you? Like clearly you in that moment you sucked, but like you don't suck, right?
It's interesting because people use that as motivation. Like if I'm on like I like to run a lot, and sometimes I'm in the middle of the woods with nothing but bears around, and I'm like, man, I suck at this. I'm so slow right now. I'm like, get this shit together. But pretty much cursing my own self out in my head. And then, 30 seconds later, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it does work for some people.
Yeah, well,
in a way.
Exactly. Self-deprecating. I do that too. You're motivating yourself.
Oh, yeah,
listen, I suck at losing weight. I've been trying to lose weight for. I don't even want. It's depressing to say how many years at this point. It's probably, it's got to be like at least 12 years I've been trying to lose weight. 12 years.
I think you should change your mentality.
I'm doing something wrong, right? 12 years of trying to lose weight.
Quit saying losing weight. Maybe you should be like, I just want to be healthy.
I feel like I am healthy, though.
There you go.
Just, large and in charge.
Healthy comes in all shapes.
More of me to love.
That's it.
No, but it's like, we all have our crosses to bear and our struggles. And I'm still here, and I'm not going to give up.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to die trying. And
more than most people can say.
And I've got my kids that I want to live for, and my wife, and I'm trying. Everything I do is for them, and I'm not going to stop. But nobody's perfect. Everybody has struggles and different facets in their life. I'm an overachiever in certain areas, and when it comes to weight and eating habits, I'm below average. But I don't want to make excuses for myself. I'm struggling with it, and I'm going to keep working at it, and eventually, like everything else in my life, I'm going to figure it out. But
yeah, absolutely,
it is what it is. Like I'm also not. I just said I think I could be president, so maybe I'm delusional. But I'd like to think I have good perspective. But that's why these conversations are good. Talking to different people, different age groups, different sexes, different philosophies in life. It's like it's funny. Book ended with our last guest and this guest. Like he was like everything kind of happens. And this is like more like me, where it's like planned out, some kind of like goal, like a vision. Maybe we pivot, but we like overall flavor of what we want. Like we plan it out. It's just funny how people get to where they're getting in many different ways, and people like what obviously you love photography but what do you like to do? Like just like what do you like to do on your to de-stress or on all what
do you rest?
Yeah.
It's honestly crazy. I posted on one of my stories, what was it? I think yesterday, that I haven't slept in 2 days, and being a photographer makes it worse. So there are times that I really honestly feel like I have insomnia, which is insane. And I think I even posted that. And the crazy thing is that I'm not even tired. So I do.
Well, you had
rest.
3 coffees today. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not tired. Just watching you drink.
Just watch.
Yeah.
No, exactly. But for me, what distresses me, which is crazy, because now I think I'm gonna have to go on a couple runs with Nick, is running. I try and run about 4 miles a day. So whether it be whether it be at the gym, whether it be at Terry Wild Park, I'm running. That's my I always tell people that's my therapy.
We need to do a group run.
Let's do it.
Oh,
Let's do it.
I don't know. I got a little tickle in my belly right now. I think it's interesting you talk about this because I'm actually going for a run after this in the dark. So
you wouldn't believe that I have my clothes in my car right now.
You got a headlamp?
I'm not joining you for a night run, just for the record.
That's
Justin and I, we're gonna go have a beer somewhere. How about
That's it. That's how you do it. Yeah, right.
Can you guys live stream it so we can watch you guys run? That'd be fantastic.
That's it. That's insane. That is so awesome. That is crazy. Like you guys, even to double check it. I'll show you guys when we get outside. I have all my running stuff in my car.
Just so you can give, I can give you. I'm sorry to interrupt. Just so I can give you perspective on my co-host here. So it's ironic that some of the not the inspiration that we're here for. Obviously, a bunch of reasons, but maybe one of the main reasons we are here is because of his run. He did a run for his daughter, and I'll let him tell you about it. I mean, the audience kind of knows, but it's never enough. The more we can raise awareness, the better. But he did a 4x4x48 challenge. So why don't you tell him what you did? And why?
So a famous world badass named David Goggins is. Have you ever heard of him?
No, I haven't.
All right, so he's a retired Navy SEAL and coined the baddest man in the universe right now for doing crazy stuff. So he's an ultra runner.
David Goggins.
And just a couple months ago, this past March was the second year he threw out a challenge to people that just follow him. He's going to run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And so the second year, which was just a couple months ago, he did it. He wants people to do it and raise money. So my daughter is 9 months old now, and she was born with cystic fibrosis. So I wanted to raise money for the foundation in her honor and raise awareness.
Yeah.
So I love to run, and it's weird because when I saw the challenge, I had no idea. I literally just said to myself, that's cool. I want to run. That's all I wanted to do. And then it clicked. I'm like, wait, I can actually make a difference. I can make an impact.
Absolutely.
And so I planned it, had lots of love and support and help from friends and family. And it was easy. Steve hates it when I say that, but awesome. The 48th mile was my fastest one, and I felt on top of the world.
That is so
awesome. I was able to, with the help of everyone else, raise over $25,000.
That's amazing.
And it was a crazy expirst. I'm a runner. Yeah.
If you like running at Terry Wild, you should try where we got to watch part of it live. Was at you ever been to Fairfield Hills in Newtown?
I have not.
Was it 2 mile? What is that?
2 mile loop.
2 mile loop. It's pretty good. Not too hilly.
2 mile loop, haunted area, well-known haunted area.
Nice.
We were ready to go eat after your run if I join you guys.
That's how I've been pretty much been living my life the past couple years, challenge. And for me, it's easiest to do it physically because then I can challenge myself mentally once I've done the easy part, which is physically for me. And running's been a huge part of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's amazing. That's motivation for me. I said at the beginning, running is therapy for me because of all the things, all the challenges that I do go through and that I do face. My dad has multiple myeloma, so he has a cancer that attacks his bones. So it's people at work and stuff like that, they'll hear that I just left the hospital in New Jersey, and he had these surgeries to where then I'll say I've seen X-rays of his spine, basically deplete, completely, like moss, in his spine. And they're like, how are you okay? How are you able to come to work and just talk about it it's no big deal? And honestly, it's through running, man. Like that's my clarity. That's how I let everything internally that's bothering me just let it completely all out, because it's definitely my therapy. It's my coping mechanism. It's really what gets me through.
More and more in common every time you talk.
Yeah.
I lost my mother to cancer when I was 16,
Really?
so I mean I know what you're going through, obviously, and it's funny how we all find different ways to cope.
Yeah.
I definitely did it in sports, thankfully, and friendships and work and whatever else you can. But in running, I mean, there's nothing better. Another thing that we like to talk about on the Boa Life podcast is how do you deal with stress and tragedy? It's like clearly through fitness, right? Through running, challenging yourself.
Absolutely.
It's a one thing that I think that most people forget, that mentally, if you want to be clear mentally, there's so much that physically has to go on that people just tend to not do these days. I don't know why.
I just hate to see people like waste opportunity, and whether that's, one day of opportunity or a whole life of opportunity. Because look, if you have 2 legs that work and lungs that can handle it, I mean, if you're not challenging yourself physically, I mean, you're not living. I'm sorry, you're just not. I can't reason with people that don't. It's hard to understand.
Right.
No, it really is. Especially like for me, there's a change in my mood if I haven't exercised or worked out.
Absolutely.
Or if I've just been inside of my house on my apartment the entire weekend, just on a couch, ordering takeout and watching movies, or something like that. It's a complete like mental like dark cloud that I'll end up getting into. And it's crazy, like all the books that'll show how the mental and the physical are so intertwined and connected. And being able to read and also connect with other people who have a similar disposition is super awesome.
Imagine the state of the world now with the pandemic and like people being locked up. It's like a need to a reality check, a need to get back in. And I think maybe to a certain extent, maybe that'll help motivate people to get out there and be one with nature and get physical and all that stuff. And that's maybe another thing that is inhibited by technology. It's like it makes it easier for people to just get lost in this virtual world instead of like going out there and seeking real life and reality and everything the world has to offer. And it's awesome that we can all connect. It gives us that ability, but there's nothing like connecting, and
nothing like
it.
Right?
Nothing like it. Like face to face, like smelling, breathing, seeing. I think that's one of the things that I do like about podcasts. It's like there's more than one. It's not like this kind of podcast. It's not just like one sense, it's like the visual, the hearing. It's like multi-stimula. It's, I don't know.
Well, to fully understand something, I mean, you got to touch on every aspect of it. You're not just going to talk about just the good stuff. You got to learn from the bad stuff too.
Yeah, you can't have the sweet without the bitter, right? Or the
yin and yang.
Yeah.
We literally said that earlier today about you guys' like podcast, like host.
I said, yeah, right. And what'd you think? Is it like?
No, it's crazy how that works. Yeah, it's a balance. That's.
But our last host. This was actually after. I think it was after we were filming. Him and I touched about the yin and the yang. How it's the black and the white, but the opposites also have a shade of the other. Yeah. In other words, even though people can be different, like there's still like weird similarities that overlap. That's the true balance, that essence in the opposites that are kind of similar to both. I don't know. It's just
2 magnets. You get so close, but yet
you
can't become one. But you're like you're pulling on each other. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like it's just interconnected. I genuinely believe that we're all a part of the same organism. I don't believe in assimilation. We're in a simulation. I'm like, I don't.
You don't believe Elon? No?
That's
listen. Some people are super smart, a lot smarter than me, but I would bet a lot of money that I'm right here. That we're living and breathing. La vida boa. Like this is like real. And that we're experiencing this for the first and only time and enjoy it and get the most you can out of it. And I think that's in being a good person. I think that you can get you can reach the stars and being a good person and trying to help others. As a matter of fact, I think that's how you get there.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people get lost and selfish and thinking, me, me, me. Like I tell my kids, don't be a minosaur. You think you're getting everything, but you're not. You're not getting anything out of life doing that. It's funny how time flies here. I do feel like this podcast could probably go on for 3 hours
Easily.
because we have so much to explore. And I hope that one day you'll be on again, because I think it's important to have conversations. And in your case, like, I think we need to talk, to young men and young women and get their perspectives, because I think sometimes we're probably more focused on people more our age or older because we're looking for the bow of life and like we're looking for experience and how do we achieve it. But, you got to get it in all phases of life. And you also got to learn from one another and figure out how we can all get it, because right now I think there's a lot of confusion. I think people are a little lost. They've lost their way a little and they're not maybe sure on what it is. I mean, I'm always searching. In conversation with other people on the internet, like what can I do to like deal with more stress, or how can I better myself financially? Like that's what I'm doing, right? Because that's my ends, right? And I think these are good means to get there. So I thank you for your time. I look forward to a future time where we could speak again, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Nick and I.
No, this was awesome. Thanks for having me, Steve. Nick, it's been an awesome pleasure learning from you guys. And like I said, that good life is coming, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cal. Really appreciate it. Let's go run.
That's it.
You guys can go run. I'm done later.